This is problem 15.18. It's showing a series circuit with a sinusoid voltage that's given and resistance 1.2K, inductance 0.1 henries, capacitance 8200 picofarads, and it wants you to find the current and the voltage across each element, just like the other problems. I'm not going to go over like every little detail here, but to find the total impedance, you're given the inductance, so X sub L equals omega L, and that's 20,000. That's 2 times 10 to the third power radians per second times 0.1 henries. Ends up equaling 2 kiloohms. X sub C is 1 over omega C, and if you do the math here, remember pico is 10 to the minus 12th, so this 10 to the third and 10 to the minus 12th combined to be 10 to the negative 9, and then the 20 times 8200 ends up being kind of a large number. When you multiply them together, it ends up being something like to the negative 3 power, which ends up being 6.1 kiloohms. So in rectangular form, you add them together like this, like we did before, and you combine the J terms, so the 2 minus 6.1 ends up being negative 4.1 K. Don't forget all the Ks. To convert the polar form, which is what the problem asks for, you do the square root of this term plus this term squared with the angle of negative tangent, inverse tangent of 4.1 K of 1.2 K, and then it results in this answer. The impedance diagram, I go over 1.2 K from here and a negative 4.1 K from here. That results in an angle that like that, so that gives me that negative. To get the goal here is to find the voltages across each, I, and the voltage across each one. You take E, the magnitude, divided by the square root of 2, the angle 60, and that gives you 4.224 angle 60, and then I equals E over Z. Divide these two numbers, 60 minus a minus 7319. That ends up being, since this is a K in the denominator, it ends up being 0.993 milliamps with an angle of 133.69. And then you multiply through each. V equals IR, VL equals I, X sub L, and VC equals I, X sub C. So you multiply the magnitudes together and add the phase angles, and you get these three answers. It wants you to draw the phasor diagram. This is going to be a really small number, 0.993 milliamps. The angle is 133.69. The voltage is 4.24 with an angle of 60. V sub C is 6.06 with an angle of 43.69. VR is 1.19 with an angle of 223. Or that was VL, my fault. 1.99 with an angle of 223, and VR is 1.19 with an angle of 133.69.